G'day, it's Jeff and Wilma here at Budrum, and today we're going to make some curried bee larvae pupae for lunch. And okay, so for the last 3.5 months I've been flat out trying to stop my bees from swarming, and I've been mostly successful, but I've lost a few swarms and lost one the other day. Anyway, part of my strategy is to towards the end there, I ran out of frames with foundation, so I put quite a few empty frames, foundationless frames, in amongst the brood, and so what I'm doing now is replacing them with frames with foundation on. And so the bees are making a lot of drone comb. So you can see here, I've got about 3 containers in the fridge, so we can go to the fridge. And anyway, so I bought all this stuff home, and I just couldn't resist keeping it. Look at that, beautiful. So this is our second video on bee larvae, and I've done a lot of research about bee larvae, and it turns out that bee larvae and pupae is about 40% protein, and the other 60% is made up with a list of vitamin enzymes as long as your arm. So the bee larvae is raised on royal jelly to start with, and then pollen and honey in a pristine environment. So it's easy to get it out, particularly once you've refrigerated the honeycomb. It's very easy to get it out. You can just separate it, just like I've done there, and because we've got so much, we're spoiled for choice. But you can see, can you close up on those please, woman? You can see these beautiful larvae here. These are the ones that we like. Anything from the new larvae to the amber coloured grubs. So you can just flick them out, and it doesn't take long to see those to get what you want. And so any of the more mature larvae we're discarding because they get a bit hard, a bit hard heads. So we're discarding those, and you get quite a few that's at the point of chewing their way out. So anybody that keeps bees can use this bee larvae, particularly anybody that has top bar hives, because top bar hives, they produce, I'm sure they'd produce a lot of drone. So what I'm cutting out here is mostly the drone. It's just a really nice food. It's really nutritious. It's got no environmental footprint. It's well, I don't use any chemicals in my beehive whatsoever, so this is chemical free, and unbelievable protein and vitamins. So we're going to put this in a curry and have it for lunch.
Yum.
Looks beautiful. Yeah, yum. So we're here now. I've got my saucepan on a fairly hot heat, and I've got about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there, and I'm going to put in one of our homegrown chopped onion, a red one, and just going to saute them. Now, another thing I want to mention about the bee larvae is in nature, well, everybody refers to bears, you know, the bears to honey, because you can even buy containers in the shape of a bear to put honey in. But in fact, the bears aren't after the honey, they're after the brood. Now there's another predator of the beehives in the wild is the honey badger, and they get their name because they attack beehives, and they tolerate hundreds of stings, and their name is honey, the honey part of the honey badger. But they're not after the honey either, they're after the brood. Now there's another predator in Japan, the giant hornet, and they'll kill every bee in a colony just to get the brood to take back to their larvae. So the brood is highly nutritious, high in protein and all the good stuff, and there's no reason why we shouldn't eat it. And anybody that keeps bees can eat it. All you got to do is put an empty frame in your brood section, and the bees will make draw their own comb, and most likely they'll fill it with drone comb, which is or you can just cut a big chunk out of the brood, out of a frame, and they'll repair it with drone comb, and you can get it like that. Or you might have friends that's got a beehive, and you can just ask them to keep some drone comb for you.
It's a real delicacy in Japan, isn't it?
Yeah, well that's where the name Hachinoko comes from. It's a Japanese name, but in other Asian countries they use the bee larvae. Some more ingredients out of my garden. I've got quite a big garlic clove here, which equals about 4, I think, 4 normal ones. Yeah, well, the bees have kept me too busy to go fishing, and all our fish in our freezers run out, so I've got also out of my garden, I've got about 2 teaspoons of grated or chopped up ginger. I'm just going to saute all that. Right, now that that's sauteed, now I've got half a dozen dried curry leaves. They're going in. And I've got some of this meat and vegetable curry mix. It's a Shan brand. I got that from an Indian spice shop. So a lot of Indian people shop there, and it's run by Indian people, so it's a good recommendation.
Oh, it's a nice shop too.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put 2 teaspoons of this meat and vegetable spice mix in there, and then let that cook for about a minute. Now, that's probably about a minute. So the next thing to go in, we've got a good cup of coconut milk or cream. Use that to deglaze the bottom, and bring that to a simmer. And what I got here is I've got about 1/3 of a cup of cashews, raw cashews. You don't want to use cooked cashews. The raw cashews will soak up the curry and give it a nice flavour.
Chop them up.
Yeah, cut in half, and about 1/3 of a cup of sultanas. So a lot of people don't like sultanas in their curry, but
we enjoy them.
We enjoy them, so you don't have to use them. About half a teaspoon of salt. Now I'm just going to bring this to a simmer, and I've got some potatoes, some kifla potatoes chopped up in the freezer that have been blanched. So I'm just going to let this come to a simmer, then I'll put them in there. So it's starting to simmer now. What I've got is 2 cups of these kifla potatoes. So they've been blanched. I'm just going to put them in there. This will take it off the boil, off the simmer, but I'm just going to let them thaw out and finish cooking in that. And when it comes back to the simmer again, it's ready to put the Hachinoko in there. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just got my potato mash. I'm just mashing the potato a little bit to soak up the curry, and it's turned into a beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is put the Hachinoko in there and just let it cook for another 2 or 3 minutes. Not very long. I don't want to overcook the Hachinoko. I don't want to destroy any of the goodness out of it by overcooking it. Righto, so here's our presentation here. We've got our onion and poppy seed toast with our Hachinoko, curried Hachinoko, bee larvae, pupae. Actually, I've been saying larvae, but it's mostly pupae. So there we go.
It smells beautiful.
Thanks, Mama. So that's our lunch. All right. Okay. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.